put this shiesty on because my forehead is beaming right now, bro. All right, we straight? We straight. How long till my food get here? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, he just now pulling in. He's just now pulling in. Oh, yeah. I'm about to frame one this dude, bro. I might just meet him at the door, low-key. Oh, yeah. You say you delivered it? Oh, yeah. Chat. We got it. Let's go. I'm trying to figure out if they put my drink in the bag, though. Or they put a drink inside the bag. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't eat dinner last night, so I ordered a whole bunch of food. Like a whole bunch of food. But yeah, hold on. Let me get all this situated real quick. Ooh, hold on. Yo. Oh! McDonald's Sprite. I got it. Chat. Not too much. Not too much on me. Not too much on me. I'm very hungry, so I ordered a lot of food. I got 2 cheeseburgers, a McDouble, a large fry. Not too much. Not too much. I got. Did they give me? I asked for 3 barbecue sauces. They gave me 4. 4 barbecue sauces. And to top it all off, I got a 20-piece McNugget. Now listen. Now listen, bro. I was hungry. So not too much, all right? And also got a large Sprite. Oh, I'm about to kill all this, bro. They give me napkins. They give me more barbecue sauce, bro. Why they give me so much? It's a 20. At least I have something to dip my fries in, I guess. Oh my. Chat, look at this. Look at this. We're eating so good right now. Don't mind the messy room. We're eating so good. Let me fix the camera. Alright. So look. Chat. Why do I keep saying chat like I'm streaming, bro? I'm not streaming, bro. I'm just so used to, like, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know why I keep saying chat. But guys, first video of the channel, man. Today I'm gonna be talking about me as a Black American child attending a school that has mostly not Black American children in it. I think I'm gonna start with a cheeseburger. Yeah, give me a cheeseburger. So look, let me give you a rundown to it. So this is the rundown, right? It's me and my other homeboys. And we thinking, oh, it's 5th grade. We should attend the same middle school. And I had no objection to that because those are my boys, you feel me? So I wanted to attend the same middle school as my homeboys, obviously. But the thing with this middle school is, it's an arts middle school. And with arts middle schools, you have to audition. Alright? So, me and my boys, we're good at drawing. If you can't tell within the reflection of my TV, you see those canvases and whatnot? Yeah, those are mine. You can see, there's a reflection off the wall right there. All that stuff is mine. You see Obito, you see Brooke, you see, I don't know if you see it, but that's Doflamingo, and the other one is Toji on the other side. But yeah, I like to draw. So I qualified for art and also qualified for something else. I think it was speech and debate or speech, something like that. I qualified for that. So me and my homeboy, let me get a nugget. Hold on. So we go to audition, right? I'm thinking, oh, I did good. Da-da-da-da-da. I'm 100% getting in. Right? Right. So when audition is over, you don't get a notice until, like, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks after you audition. So I was on high heels for a cool little minute. Cool little minute. So I'm over here chopping up with my friends. I was like, yeah, we did good. We about to attend the same middle school. We about to ball out at lunch. We about to be in the same classes. We over here fantasizing. And I remember this straight down to the T. I came home from basketball practice, right? I'm all sweaty, dirty, da 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 da. I just wanted to take a shower. My mom calls me in the living room, right? Calls me in the living room. I go in the living room. She's like, JT. I'm like, yes, mom. She's like, sit down. I gotta talk to you about something. I'm thinking I got in trouble for something. I sat down. She was like, oh, your letter for your school auditions came back in. I was like, oh, bet. She said, give me the envelope. Give me the envelope. I was like, give me the envelope. She gave me the envelope. I'm figuring out, like, why is my mom not hyped for me right now? Turns out, she read the envelope. Now, I'm not mad at her for reading the envelope. If I had a son who auditioned to a school, I'd read the envelope too. It's middle school. I don't really care. Now, if it was college, that's a different story. But anyway, I'll open it, and it's a letter. Long story short, I got denied. Both subjects. I applied for 2 subjects. That means I went to 2 auditions, and I got denied for both of them. How sorry can you be? That's some sorry stuff right there. So, I'm not gonna lie. I was sad. I went into a few days of depression. No. And you're probably wondering, oh, JT, what about your homeboys? Dog. I gotta take some Sprite for this one. Bro, when I tell you every one of my homeboys got picked to be in that school but me, fam, I was the only one who didn't make the cut. Yo, I had to go to a group chat. We was in a group chat. It was live in that group chat. They're like, yeah, I got in. Da 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 da. Yo, we lit. Da 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 da. They're like JT. Well, how did your letter go? I was like, man, I did not get in, bro. And it was sad, bro, because, you know, it's crazy how everyone in the friend group got in but me. And that really hit me because I thought my work wasn't good enough. So that inspired me, you feel me? If you can see the reflection on the TV, that inspired me to get better at my craft because it's like I wasn't good enough. Well, you crazy because I thought I was a good artist. But hey, man, I didn't make the cut. That's just how it goes sometimes, I guess. So after that, I didn't really know what school I was going to go to. I didn't want to go to, well, I'm going to say that for later. But I didn't know what school I was going to go to. And my mom told me, she was like, hey, it's okay. I got a job because my mom is a teacher. So she was like, I got a job at this one middle school and you could come here with me. I was like, oh, okay, bet. I said, yeah, I'll go. So, and this is why I don't like this middle school. Because, number one, middle school started at like 8:20, 8:30. And I live 40 minutes away from this school. So it was a 40-minute drive to. And when did you come in here? Oh, by the way, there's my cat Smoke. Hey, buddy. I did not see him come in here. But it was a 40-minute drive to and from the school. That's 80 minutes in the car. All right. I had to make sure my phone was charged, headphones charged, because that was basically like a car trip to me. I was a little kid. I had no concept of time. So the sad part was it was in 40 minutes away. That means everyone who attended my elementary school did not go there. So I had to make completely new friends. Crazy works. Crazy works. And at first, I didn't really think nothing of it because, I'm a friendly guy. I'm a friendly guy. It's not hard for me to make friends, as you can tell by my personality. I'm a very outgoing guy. Well, now I am. Back then I wasn't. But I was still able to make friends. So, first day of school comes around, right? First day of school comes around, and I'm kind of excited. I get to meet new people. I get to go travel places. Well, not really travel, but it's like 40 minutes away. I get to go. All right, bro. I'm about to kick this cat out. He's scratching my chair. Hold on. Anyways, I got to. You feel me? It was a new experience for me, and I like new experience. Some people don't like new. Me, I kind of like new. It depends on what it is, though. So, first day of school comes around. I'm kind of excited. Get up, get ready, shower, brush my teeth, wash my face, put my clothes on, and mind you, this school starts at like 8 something, so we had to wake up at like 6, 7 in the morning, which was very early to me because I wasn't used to waking up at that sort of time. But you live and you learn. That's just how life is. So we go to school after the 40-minute drive. By the way, that was the longest car ride of my entire life existence to go to a school. And since my mom works there, I was able to go in the school because the students were waiting outside. Well, they weren't really waiting outside, but it was like they were waiting in the cafeteria area because it was preschool. So they have to get breakfast and all that before they went to the actual classes. But me, because my mom worked there, I went straight to her classroom and chilled with her. That's when I started getting cold feet. I was kind of nervous. So I get in the classroom. My mom gives me the first day of school talk. Make sure you're nice. Make sure you meet good people. Make sure you speak. Make sure you get all the information for the syllabus and the teachers and all that. Yes, mom. First bell rings, right? First bell rings. Mind you, this is 6th grade, so this is elementary school. Elementary school me, coming into a middle school. This middle school was 5 times bigger than my elementary school. So my classes were the 7 Dragon Balls. One class was over there. One class was over there. One class was over there. A class all the way back there and back there. It was a mess. I had to learn how to walk. That's where I learned how to really walk fast. Everyone used to tell me in life I walk very fast. That's where I got it from. But I knew something strange. As I'm walking into the school, walking around the school and looking at the people, I realized there's not that many black people there, bruh. If I'm really giving you an estimate, a middle school has what? I don't want to say 2,000 kids. I don't know. But if you were to put it into a perspective, I would say if you were speed running to find a black kid in there, it would take you a good 10 minutes to find a black kid at that school. There wasn't that many black people there. And I kind of felt, I kind of felt a certain type of way about that. But then again, after seeing it coming, On that car ride, we was riding down. I'm looking at the streets. I see nice houses. I see mowed lawns. Bro, I see a golf course next to the school. That's how I know. That's how I know it was fried. I saw a golf course next to the school. There was nothing but like luxury stuff in that area. So I should have seen it coming. But I don't have good vision like that. You know, because I was slow. I was slow. So I'm noticing that. And I'm not gonna lie, did it make me uncomfortable? Yes, it definitely did. Because I had to repeatedly code switch. I had to repeatedly, you know, switch my type of, I don't know how to call it, aura or whatever you say, to fit in. And that's bad. Well, I don't really know. Anyways, so me going through the first day of school, da 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 da. And, you know, we do the classic introduce yourself, da da da, syllabus, da da da. First day of school. First day of school was alright, I guess. And I didn't really make that many friends, to be honest. Because, like, I didn't really have, well, I was a weird kid back then, so I kind of was, like, making somewhat a good amount of friends, but it wasn't to the point where it was like I would talk to them like that outside of the school. Are you feeling me? Cause like I didn't know what to say. Now I'm not saying just because they were white I had no connections with them. No. I'm just saying ever since I peeped the fact that I was like one of the few black kids to attend that school, it kind of just like shut my whole demeanor down, if you get what I'm saying. Like I kind of like, how do I describe it? Like I was like, oh man, like I kind of gave up too early, you feel me? And knowing me, there's probably some cool people I would have met at that school, but then again, the friends that I made, they weren't really, well, we gonna get into that later down the line. One of my good friends, his name was Nick, right? His name was Nick. Me and Nick knew each other since the first day of school. We're in 7th grade, by the way. Me and Nick knew each other since the first day of school. So we were cool. And, I messed with Nick. And there was other people I messed with too that were really cool. You feel me? I have my little circle. Now, in my circle consists of some of the black people or black individuals who went to that school. And I only made friends with like, how many black people did I make friends with? Like 2? Nah, when I tell you there was like no black people there, bro. I only made friends with like 2 black people. One of them was a thug. I know that. I remember that. One of them was a thug. I stopped talking to him after what's it called? 6th grade because he just left the school. Which, yeah, he just left the school, so I stopped talking to him. And the other one I didn't really get along with in class because he would. I don't really want to say this like that, but he was whitewashed. And he also hung around a bunch of people that I did not like at all. So there was that too. So in reality, I had no black friends there. I don't know why I just said that. I didn't have any black people there for real in my circle. But that doesn't mean the white folk that I made friends with weren't cool. Some of them were cool. But back to Nick. The 7th grade, I want to say PE classes when we started to do our little thing, right? Bro, when I tell you, that PE class was lit. Oh my, I had about I want to say 5 people in that PE class that that I really messed with. Now, granted, when it came to that locker room, they were weird. They were weird. And that goes for every type of school locker room, middle school and high school. Stop being weirdos in the locker room. That's not cool. That's ill. No. But they were cool. But I specifically remember this. I mean, our PE class, only those 5 people mess with me. Everyone else, they didn't really like talk to me like that. And they didn't want to talk to me because I kind of was a weirdo. And I didn't want to say I was different because I don't want to jump to conclusions. Because I know, well, I'm not going to say that. But I don't want to jump to conclusions. But nobody really talked to me except for those 5 people. So I didn't really know any of them like that, the rest of the class. And I didn't want to know the rest of the class because I just wanted to stick to my little clique. I didn't want to expand. So, PE class, right? We have different lessons on sports, right? And we would have a week where it's like, okay, this week we're learning and playing lacrosse. This week we're learning frisbee football. This week we're learning track and field. And I remember specifically because your grade in that class depends on how good you do in that sport. I remember specifically my clique of 5 being right with me. And then the PE teacher said, all right, class, this week's sport is basketball. And I got hyped because I play basketball. I hoop. I'm still a hooper to this day. I don't play for a team, but I'm still a hooper. I remember she said, this lesson is basketball. I'm getting hyped. She was like, you need to make a team of 5 because at the end of the week, we are playing a 5v5 game and it will reflect on your grade. Dog, when I tell you I look up, I seen people I didn't even know the names of who were lining up in front of me talking about some, JT, can you be in my group? JT, can we be friends so we can play basketball together? JT, you remember that time where I gave you a little piece of my cookie at lunch? No! No, I don't. I don't know you. I have never, spoke to you in my life, bro. But all of a sudden, when the basketball lesson want to come up, you want to be my best friend? No! No! So, I had to get my little clique of 5. Because, that's my clique. And we needed 5. So, it was me, Nick, and the other 3 jits. Right? I don't do that. Because who are you to not talk to me for the whole year, and then all of a sudden when the basketball lesson comes up, I'm your best friend? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Anyways, so after all that said and done, right? Me and Nick start getting close. You feel me? Like we on some best friend type level of friendship. And my headphones just fell. Anyway. And I remember there was a time where we were on the topic about racism or something like that. I don't even know. It was just some random topic. And I remember he just flat out said, you should give me the N-word pass. Mind you, Nick is like the color of my wall. No, I'm not even trying to be bro. He's like the color of my wall, but white. Like this boy is white. So I know what you're thinking. You ain't give him the N-word pass, right? Well, we're talking about a 7th grader who has a juice box fade, big lips, and a dumb mental state. So what do you think I did? What do you think I did? That's right. Yeah, I'm not even gonna say yeah. I gave it to him, bro. Cause he's been my day one ever since. So I gave it to him. Dumbest idea I've ever executed. Dumbest thing I've ever did. Still regret it to this day. I don't think there'll ever be a time where I will look back and be like, And I'm not really tripping about that. But at this point, there will never be a time where I'll let that go because that was the dumbest thing I've ever did. But I said, yeah, go ahead, you can have it. Sadly, I did. And he starts saying it. And I ain't really check him on it. And my homeboys were looking at me all sideways. They were like, "You're not gonna say nothing to him?" I was like, "Nah, I gave him the pass." They're like, "Oh, okay." But then it came to a point where he just started spamming it, bro. Like spamming it. Like there was this one day where he was in a locker room and he was singing a song. When I tell you that, bro, dog, he wasn't even singing a song at that point. He was just saying it in a rhythmly tune. He would, bro. I'm not even gonna like repeat the word because I don't know what you can say on YouTube and stuff like that. But he was just saying, bro, he was just going all in on it. And then my homeboy was looking at me, and back then I had a hard time speaking up for myself and like, telling people how I felt about certain stuff. So my other homeboy could clearly see that, and he goes up to Nick. He's like, "Nick, I don't think you should be like, saying it and spamming it." Like he said, me personally, I don't think you should be saying it at all. But I can see JT's face, and he doesn't really like how you're like saying it like that. And I kind of just nodded, like, "Yeah, bro, you're like doing way too much, bro. Like, it's supposed to be on like, you feel like when I expect to give someone a pass. First off, I'll never do that again in my life because there's no such thing as the N-word pass at all. Don't ever like think that's real. There's no such thing as that. But if I were to, you feel me? If somehow, some way you beat the system and I give you it, it's only on some like nonchalant stuff like, "Hey, what's up, ma?" Or like, "Yeah, what's good, ma?" You feel me? That's how I expect for it to be. Not you running around the whole locker room spamming it. Like what, bro? That's weird. That's weird. But after that, his pass got revoked. His pass got revoked. I'm not really tripping about it. His pass got revoked. So, yeah. And he got in trouble for saying that too. So, yeah. This is gonna be crazy to say. Like this story right here is gonna be crazy. So look, peep game, lock in. So obviously, since the majority of the school is not my skin complexion, love life is gonna be kind of hard because me personally, I don't like white girls. I like my type of girls. Girls that are my skin complexion, girls that are black, somewhat light skinned. But you can only hold on to those beliefs for so long when you're surrounded by other other stuff, like different stuff, and there's little of what you like in the selection. It's like going to a buffet. You like your favorite food is chicken, right? Like you like chicken, but at the buffet they only got like coleslaw and biscuits and a little bit of mashed potatoes. So at the end of the day, it's either you're taking a coleslaw, mashed potatoes, and biscuits, or nothing. And back in the time, hormones kicking in, I wanted a girlfriend. So I got the closest thing I could to someone who was good looking and also in a little bit of the minority selection. If you peep my game. So look, there's one girl, right? Latina. I know, yeah, Latina. And I was like, ooh, she's kind of bad. So, mind you, I had no game, and I was plotting on this shorty for like 3 years. Yeah, bro, 3 years. I didn't shoot my shot in 3 years, bro. That's actually sad, but hey, man, that's what happens when you're not in the fields like that. But obviously, I'm not like that now, so I'm lying. But yeah, I was playing Latina, And I was like, ooh, bad. So I'm over here trying to get her name, what she like, da da da. Even though I barely talked to her, right? And I remember I was in this math class, right? And mind you, I got switched out of this math class because it was way too hard for me. That's why I don't like doing advanced math. And I told my mom that I want to do it, but she still said you're gonna do it. Even though I told her, I said I'm going to fail this class, but she didn't listen, and I failed the class, so I had to get switched out. But anyway, while I was in that advanced class, there's this kid named Tommy, right? And me personally, I hated Tommy. I'm gonna keep it a bug. I hated this kid so much, bro. I hated him so much. And you wanna know why I hated him so much? Is because he had so much motion, bro. Oh my god. Growing up now, like now that I'm like fully grown up, back then I could never explain why I hated him so much. But now I figured out why I hated him so much. He had so much motion, bro. He was the funniest one in class. He had all the girls laughing. He had the most friends in the class. He was liked by all the teachers. He was invited to stuff. If like they just knew Tommy, so I hated him because I obviously wanted to be like that. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I was a hater. I take full responsibility in that. I was a hater. I hated this kid. So I was like, man, whatever. Tommy ain't got nothing on me. Tommy. You feel me? So when I'm chopping it up with Shorty, right? No. Actually, let's rewind a bit forward before I got her number. So I just her homegirl on IG. I was like, hey, do you have so and so's number? She was like, yeah, why? I was like, I want to shoot my shot. She was like, you want to shoot your shot? Oh, yeah. She gave me the number. I was like, yo, what's up? Da da da. This JT. I'm in your class. Da da da. She was like, oh hi. She was like, oh hi. Hey JT. Da 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 da. How'd you get my number? I was like, oh, your homegirl gave it to me. She was like, oh, okay. And I was having a little conversation with her, da da da, and we get on the topic with friends. She was like, so you got any friends? I was like, I mean, I do, but it's like not that many. And I was like, do you have any friends? She was like, yeah, I have da da da, da da da, and da da da. And she showed me pictures of her friends, and then she sends a picture of Tommy, right? And she was like, oh yeah, this is Tommy, my bestie. And then you like, bro, she said bestie, and she put a little heart emojis after it. And like she put the E after bestie, like she put like 4 E's after bestie. I'm like, yeah, bro, yeah. Get Tommy, bro, Tommy. I'm telling you, bro, this kid had motion back then, bro. Did I run out of nuggets? I ran out of nuggets. This kid had motion, bro. I don't understand it. Bro. This kid had motion like that. And out of all the girls, that one? Come on, bro. I'm not saying she's ugly. I'm not saying it like she was ugly. But it's like, come on, bro. Come on, man. Just go after something else, bro. That's mine. That was mine, bro. That was supposed to be mine. But anyway, he's like, oh yeah, Tommy, my bestie. I didn't think none other because me personally, I was what's the word? Oblivious. I didn't really take that hint that she messed with Tommy like that. So I just brushed it off. And what's it called? The crazy part is, after like 30 minutes of talking, I finally get the confidence to shoot my shot. I was like, I don't know what I said. I was like, hey, I think you're really beautiful. Da 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 da. I was wondering if you were my girlfriend. Because back then, I didn't know what talking stages were. So I just said, can you be my girlfriend? Long story short, I got rejected, obviously. Duh. Because I was chopped. I still am. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still chopped. But, long story short, she said no. She was like, and I wouldn't really care if she was like no, but this is what happened. And I want y'all to really peep this. Because I could have fully crashed out, but I was like, nah. She responds with, I'm sorry, but my parents don't let me date, and da 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 da. And this is where it all starts to go downhill. Listen to this. Listen to this. I want to say 5 minutes after I asked her out, the homegirl that I asked for her number, she texted me on IG. She was like, JT. I was like, what's up? She was like, did you just ask so-and-so out? I was like, yeah. How you know that? She was like, she sent that and she sent a screenshot in the group chat, fam. Dog. When I tell you this group chat was like 15 deep, bro. When I tell you this group chat was like 15 deep, bro. Dog, you could not make this up. Mind you, meanwhile, my homeboys are living a good time in that other middle school that I got rejected from. Just want to make that known. They live in a immaculate time over there. Meanwhile, I'm getting rejected and getting posted in a group chat in the 7th grade. Crazy works. But it gets even better. It gets even better, bro. Me and that girl that I just asked out, we follow each other on TikTok, right? We follow each other on TikTok. I remember one day, like, I want to say 2 days after I got rejected from her, I was scrolling on TikTok. Yo, tell me why I see her and Tommy in the same room doing TikTok together and kissing, bro. But I thought your parents didn't let you date, bro. So it really gets to a point. It really, like, am I wrong? Am I wrong for, like, getting hot about that? Am I wrong for getting hot about that? Because not only not only did the person I was hating on, who had motion like that, swoop in and take my crush, but it's the fact that she lied, right? It's the fact that she lied about her not being able to date. But then I want to say 2 to 3 days after, you pop out with Tommy. So is it really wrong for me to be this hot about it? Yes, because I am a grown man now and I should really let it go. But thinking back at it now in the 7th grade, that's some crazy, like, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I didn't even, like, I'm not gonna lie, after that, I kind of, like, slowed down my whole, like, mojo. Because, like, you know how, like, you have, like, a little flow going? You know, you happy, you uppity, you lifting people up. You're a good person to be around. And then when a certain situation happens, it just completely just lowers your whole demeanor, bro. That's exactly what happened to me, fam. After that, I ain't text not one of my friends. I hop on the game with my elementary school friends, because even though they were still at that middle school, we were still playing the game together and talking daily. But I didn't even call or text them. I barely spoke to my parents like that. I just was gonna, in this room right here, this is the same room, in this room, in that bed, just lights off, just looking at YouTube or like regular show or something like that. I wasn't having none of that, bro, because cause that's some crazy events that happen, bro. Like, imagine you hate somebody. Like you hate somebody for having like too much popularity, and then you talk to a joint and that joint lies to you about not being able to date and goes behind your back and then dates the person that like you hate for having motion like that. When that person who had motion could date anybody they wanted. Out of all the people they could have dated, they just so happened to choose that joint that you was talking to. That's crazy. But you live and you learn, I guess. So it was kind of looking back at it now. That's a learning experience for me. So I'm not really like tripping over that anymore because then again, that's seventh grade. I'm about to graduate high school right now, so I'm not tripping over that now. But that's still like crazy though. So seventh grade, right? I couldn't think. I couldn't think middle school could get any worse, yo. I couldn't think middle school get any worse, bro. You wanna know what happened? You wanna know what happened? Online school, bruh. Online school. That's right. For the other half of my seventh grade year, in the full like span of my eighth grade year, I was stuck to a computer. I was stuck to my dusty MacBook in the kitchen, uh, joining Google Meets and being on online school. Did I do the work? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I cheated on all my assignments. Did not turn my camera on or turn off my mic to answer any single questions. I did not do any of that. Um, Online school. Here's what I did. Here's what I did. They had a teacher. They had a teacher on the screen, right? Everyone was on the Google Meet. They're like, "Oh, you gotta turn your camera on so I can see you." Da 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 da. Turn your camera on. I was like, ah. There was one day I had enough of it. So I went to the Google extension store and I saw a Google Meet extension. This extension, it had cool features like custom backgrounds, video effects, and this and the third. But there was one effect that really stood out to me, and that was the freeze screen effect. Yep. So guess what I did? Joined the Google Meet. I was the first one to turn my camera on. First one to turn my camera on, I remember so vividly. I hop in the frame, right? I start the frame just like this. Without you seeing, I move this hand down to my mouse. And then I would press the freeze button, like the freeze screen button. And it would just have, it would just be a picture of me just standing like this. Not blinking for like, not blinking for like an hour and 30 straight, bro. And it would work. Because no one would be like, JT, turn your camera on. JT, turn your camera on. Oh. It would have my face frozen on the screen. And she wouldn't really check if I was blinking or not because she was teaching the lesson. So it wouldn't matter. The teachers never caught on to the method. So that was fun, I guess. All I did was just play Fortnite all day because that's when Fortnite was in its prime. Well, second prime. That's when, I want to say, that's when, Chapter 2 Season 1 came out. Or Chapter 2 Season 2 came out. I don't know. It was the Brutus and Midas thing. That's when that season came out. But at first, I was enjoying online school. And then again, I was like, damn. Because if you really think about it, that went through my whole 8th grade year. Going into, because when I went into high school freshman year, then that's when we were allowed to go back into the school. But my whole 8th grade year, I missed out on my entire graduation, bro. In reality, I did not graduate from middle school at all, bro. Like, when it was like the last day of school, like we came back to the school for state testing and all that. But when it was like the last day of school, there was no see you later. There was no yearbook signing. There was none of that. There was no cap and gowns. There was none of that. There was click the hang up button on the Google Meet and go about with your life. That's it. I had no graduation. I wasn't grabbing no diploma or anything. I wasn't getting no awards, no nothing. It was just left the Google Meet and that's it. Go to high school. And that's actually sad if like looking back at it now because I never got the full experience of graduating middle school. And I half and half care and don't care because at the same time, I did not like that middle school at all. I used to lie to my mom every day saying, like she would ask me how my day was each day. I would lie to her every single day and be like, "Yeah, it was good. You know, da da da. I hung out with my friends. I had fun." When in reality, I just hated every single like second and day I was in that school. I'm not gonna lie. The the people there got on my nerves. My friends were still cool, I guess, but the people there got on my nerves, as you heard. And the teachers were all right. Some of them were all right. I was only cool with like two, three teachers at that school. My whole entire 3 years being there. But yeah, bro, I just did not care. But at the same time, I kind of cared because like, dang, that was supposed to be like a big experience in my life, and it just got ripped away from me from a virus, bro, which is actually insane. And I know some people had the same exact experience as me, bro, and that's actually crazy. We can't we can't tell people, oh yeah, our middle school graduation was lit because it really wasn't. We just logged off of Google Meet and went to high school. That's it. But yeah, that was basically how um that's basically how my middle school days went. Being one of the only black children in that school. Um, what do I give it out of 10? A negative six. A negative six. Because not only did I not make it and was the only one who did not make it in that middle school that I was supposed to go to my friends with, but I had to deal with a lot of uh I had to deal with a lot of stuff that came with going to that other school. And that was just things that I did not mess with. If that makes sense. That probably just didn't make sense. But yeah, bro, I just didn't like my middle school, bro. At all. Never would wish out my worst enemy at all. Never would. But yeah, man. That's the first video on my channel. Um, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I will catch y'all. I will catch y'all in a later video. Peace.